You don't have to moan, bitch. Nayuta pressed against the store showcase, nodding and worrying. She had been in this state for about 30 minutes already. Arriving at the shopping street, shuttle, shopping street, we went to the store. Nayuta was after as planned. When I actually went there, I recognized the shop lined up along the shopping street. I had walked past the shop many times, and there were also times when the smell of delicious-looking mitarashi dango made me stop. However, I had never actually bought anything at that store. The reason is simply that I never had the habit of buying dumplings at such shops. If Nayuta hadn't brought it up today, I probably wouldn't have brought dumplings here from now on. Earlier. Or either, sorry. Well, that's fine, I guess. The problem was that Nayuta was taking too long to think about buying tea leaves. Hey, Nayuta. Not yet?
すみません、もうちょっと。
I think she haven't figured out what tea to pick. There are various types of tea leaves, and for example, even with the same green tea, the taste differs depending on the type of leaf. And it seems that Nayuta is particular about that, and about 30 minutes of careful consideration passed.
先輩、この狭山影星熟成と秋津荒茶仕立て、どっちがいいと思います？
I have no fucking clue. I have no fucking clue. Like this, I honestly couldn't keep up either. But when I look at Nayuta, who is serious as always, I can't rush them recklessly. I can't rush her recklessly. It took another 50 minutes until Nayuta was convinced and chose the tea leaves to buy.
結局、狭山影星熟成と秩父深蒸しが最後まで競りましたが、僅差で秩父深蒸しに決定しました。
Sorry. I have to put it here. I see, that's good. I couldn't give a fuck about Nayuta. I didn't know Nayuta was a tea leaf enthusiast. It's been about half a year since I met Nayuta. It seems this girl still has many sides of herself that I don't know.
さて、次はいよいよお団子ですね。
Yeah. Finally, for me, this was the real deal after all.
よーし、今買ったお茶の葉に合うお団子をゆっくりじっくりと吟味しないと。
I have 3 mitarashi dango and 3 kinako dango. Do you want the same?
もんだもよ。
I really couldn't put up with this any longer. What the fuck? Yeah, this mitarashi dango is seriously delicious.
本当ですね。あ、こっちのきなこ団子もいけますよ。
Let's see. After buying tea leaves and dumplings at the shop from a little while ago, we moved as far as the pedestrian bridge in front of the station and were picking at the dumplings we had just brought by the roadside. Oh, for sure, the kinako is delicious too. Even I, who am not really good with sweets, can handle this.
ですよね、ですよね。これならたまちゃんも喜びます。
I see, there was also the portion of 10 yuji, right? Were 3 each enough?
ええ、今1本ずつにしておきます。残り2本ずつはたまちゃんと一緒に食べますから。
Do you want to eat a little of my portion?
そんな悪いですよ。先輩が自分で買った分なのに。
I got my bento made for me every day. Don't hold back just because of something like this.
じゃあ、いただいてもいいですか？
Here you go.
ありがとうございます。
By the way, is this an electric car? Like, this is a fucking visual novel from the 2008s. Was Japan that advanced, or am I just high? Narita took a skewer of Mitarashi dango from my hand a little reservedly, but happily. You help take care of me even though I never asked for it, but when it comes to returning the favor, you are always so reluctant.
おいしい。なゆたは幸せ者です。
I see, that's good.
これで入れたてのお茶があれば完璧なんですけどね。
It would be perfect if we had freshly brewed tea with this. As expected, I can't exactly make tea here. Besides, I had been kept waiting for so long that I was a little hungry, so I couldn't wait for tea. Aren't you already eating?
今度私の入れたお茶も飲んでくださいね。
Eventually. However, I wondered if such an opportunity would really exist. I decided not to think too deeply about that. But well, I'm glad I got to eat such delicious dumplings.
そうですね。あの店を教えてくれたタマちゃんに感謝です。
That's true, but I want to thank Nayuta, who invited me to that store today. I thought this earlier too, but if Nayuta hadn't invited me, I probably wouldn't have bought dumplings at that shop. Besides, even Nayuta should have had the option of going with Tenyuji instead of inviting me. What the fuck? After all, Tenyuji was the one who provided the information about that shop. Even so, the fact that you dared to invite me, and the fact that you once again broadened my world. Thanks, Nayuta. I thought so in my heart, but I was too embarrassed to say it out loud.
なんですか先輩、急にニヤニヤしちゃって。せっかくの男前が台無しですよ。
You always have to ruin it when someone is in a good mood, and on top of that, you make remarks that are so subtle it's hard to tell if you are complimenting or criticizing.
一応今のはけなしたつもりですけど。
Are you insulting me or what? Seriously, this girl, as soon as you start to respect her a little, she does this. But the truth is, including a backslide, that is also something I couldn't bring myself to hate.
なんだてめえ、やんのかこら。ざっかんなよ、おい、死にてえのか。
Is this? I have a hunch that this is the boy in the past. Now she's a tough guy getting bullied, or getting bullied by a tough guy.
やれ、てこますぞわれ。
By the way, this guy recorded his voice lines in fucking, I don't know, from a Commodore 64 with a headphone bolt from Tesco. What's going on? At that moment, shattering the peaceful atmosphere, the man's strange cries echoed. At the same time, a noisy bustle and an unusual atmosphere are conveyed.
シャトルの入り口の方みたいですね。
I'm curious. Should I go take a look? Yeah.
行くんですか?
Well, yeah, I just heard a fucking evil guy, and instead of avoiding it, I'm just heading straight at him. Makes logical sense. Do you hate that?
いえ、ちょっと怖そうだから。
Well, it is. Narita shows an unusually girlish reaction. I hesitate for a moment, but here my curiosity wins. It's fine, it looks like there are plenty of onlookers anyway, so I'm just going to watch for a bit.
じゃあ、ちょっとだけなら。
Alright, it's decided, no. I somewhat forcefully took the not so enthusiastic Narita and headed toward the commotion. Why?
おいおい、なんとか言えよてめえ。
You bought a better microphone.
ビビったんのか。ああ。でら。て
Delinquent 3. Dala. Near the entrance of the shopping street Shutter Road, several men were having some kind of dispute there. Narita and I, mingling with the onlookers, peeked at the scene from the side. Wow, this is the kind of delinquent you don't see much in a shopping district during the daytime. Looking over, three rough-looking men wearing unusually baggy clothes seemed to be picking a fight with someone. Those were the kinds of people who often loitered around convenience stores at midnight or large retail stores open late at night. And even while surrounded by those three delinquents, there was a tall figure who stood out by a head. Who is this? This isn't one of them that I know. He didn't seem like a delinquent, but he was obviously a tough-looking guy. Even from here, a little farther away, you can tell that he's tall. He's definitely over 180 centimeters. Thank God that Japan also uses centimeters. And above all, the piercing gaze and sharp eyes that seem to pierce whoever looks at them are impressive. Our eyes met over there. Was that a coincidence? No, it had to be that, but even so, it was a rather strange coincidence. After all, leaving aside us over there, they have three enemies right in front of them that they need to keep an eye on. Well, he looks like the type of guy to aura farm, and yet my eyes met with him as I blended with the onlookers. And moreover, is it staring back at me? Yeah, he's my favorite character already. What is this feeling? It's like I know him. I was confused and didn't understand what was going on. I didn't recognize them from over there. However, the other party neither glares nor looks away, but simply stares straight at me. It's not like they are asking for help or anything, but rather as if they are pleading for something else.
何スカトぶっかいてんだえ何死にたいマジ死にたい感じ
What is this, South Spark?
だらシャスレ
So corny, man. While he and I were staring at each other, the delinquents who were relentlessly ignored became enraged. Sensing that the situation was becoming increasingly suspicious, I decided to try making eye contact with him. Hey, you! This is seriously getting dangerous soon. This isn't the time to be looking at me, right? Look around you. Then, as if he understood my intention, he looked away from me with a sigh. And when he raised his face, he finally turned to face the delinquents. Better. Shut up. He muttered something under his breath.
あ今なんつったてめ
日本語を喋れ。
Speak Japanese.
はあんだとこら
お前らが何を言ってるのかさっぱりわからん。せめて日本語でわめいてくれ。
Clearly, decisively, and bluntly, without any concealment. The tall young man told them so.
だらブラウチョだお前ら
What the yeah, I get him. Speak Japanese. Among the three, the one who seemed the least proficient in Japanese appeared to fly into rage and lunged at him to strike. Dodge.
トロ
However, he easily avoided it. Dog.
だら
Before I realized it, the delinquent slowly went down on his knees and then gently lay down on the ground. I think I was hit by him. Or was it a kick? I think I was hit by a smooth criminal. It was such a brief moment that I couldn't tell the difference between a punch and a kick. He is clearly used to fighting. This is not some showy combat sport they have on TV. It's probably practical, just as blunt and straightforward as their words and actions.
もういいか。この後用事があるんだが。
What the fuck? The remaining two flew into rage and attacked him. 2-1 in terms of numbers. He is overwhelmingly at a disadvantage. No, he's John Wick. However, I was convinced that he would win.
先輩、もう行きましょうよ。
Then Nayuta tugs at my sleeve and appeals like that.
喧嘩怖いです。ああいうの見ていたくない。
Yeah, sorry, my bad. I decided to leave the place, prompted by Nayuta. I was a little concerned about him, but it seems there's no need to worry about his well-being, at least. Yeah. From behind I could hear the delinquent's strange cries and screams, which gradually grew fainter. I thought that this is the Twin Tower. Is it already sunset? That was fast. On the way home, Nayuta and I were walking through the space park in the evening glow. Lately, I especially feel that the time when the sky turns red has been getting earlier. I just made a little detour, and by the time I got home, the town was already bathed in amber.
先輩先輩、
Another
ちょっといいです
title
か？
drop. What's wrong? Nayuta walked beside me and lightly tugged at my sleeve. Nayuta, who had been a little scared after seeing the earlier commotion, had now completely regained their composure.
前から疑問に思ってたんですけど、この塔って一体何のためにあるんですか？
Ah, this? It's a clock tower, probably. As that, I looked up at the tower standing in the plaza of the space park. Damn, this is big. This tower is a bell tower, almost. To be exact, I guess you could call it a belfry.
鐘付きとっていうことは鐘が鳴るんですよね。でもここで鐘が鳴ってるの聞いたことないです。
Of course, after all, we don't have the crucial bell right now. Originally, this bell tower rang the bell twice a day in the morning and evening. However, about a year ago, the sound of the bell abruptly stopped and no longer rang.
どうして鐘が鳴らなくなったんですか？ここの鐘はどこ行ったんです？
Now, what was it again? It's not like it was stolen or anything. I think there was some reason for it. However, I wasn't particularly interested, so I didn't remember it at all. You could Google it if there was a thing back then. Well, honestly, it doesn't really affect our lives as citizens. Even if the clock doesn't chime right now, it's not like it would be a problem.
それはそうなんですけど、どんな音で鐘が鳴るのかちょっと聞いてみたかったです。
Everyone knows what the fuck. Huh? But Nayuta lives in this town and you have never heard the sound of the bell even once?
はい。私、今年の春に今の学校に進学が決まって、それからこの町に引っ越してきたんです。
I see. In that case, it's no wonder you didn't know. I think it was around this time last year that the bell here disappeared somewhere. If Naruto came to this town this spring, it was only natural that they had never heard the sound of the bell.
でもちょっとロマンチックな感じですよね。先輩と一緒に鐘が鳴るのを聞きたかったな。
Well, I suppose there will be times when it comes back.
そうですね。そしたらその時は私とその時まで一緒にいられたらいいな。
Squeeze. Naruto quietly snuggled up next to me and entwined their arm with mine, so hugged me. My heart skipped a beat inwardly as I linked arms with Naruto, letting things happen as they would.
今ちょっと幸せな感じ。
Just a little. Naruto.
友達でも腕組むくらいはありですよね。
Yeah, I guess.
よかった。嬉しいです。
Seeing that, Naruto gently rested her head on my shoulder. Naruto who expresses affection for me straightforwardly. Even I have favorable feelings toward that, Naruto. But I wonder if my feelings for Naruto are really the same as Naruto's feelings. This might just be a lame excuse, though. I wasn't sure whether my feelings included romantic emotions. How should I put it? The existence of Naruto feels to me like a cute little sister. Little sister? Little sister, I say? No, that's not it. Naruto is not a little sister or anything. I hope so. Isn't it disrespectful to Naruto to even equate them with a younger sister in the first place? My feelings for Naruto are not a substitute for a little sister. She's a big sister. Naruto,
先輩。
But I don't even know how I should convey it or even what it was that I want to convey. I didn't say that because I thought that
先輩。
Naruto, who was looking up at me with moist eyes, slowly closed them. Even I can understand what that means. But until now, we had never done anything that crossed that line. There was a subtle approach from the Naruto side, but I have brushed it off ambiguously every time. But I can't keep taking such an ambiguous attitude forever, can I? Naruto's feelings were expressed 6 months ago. And her attitude clearly tells us that it is something that has not changed even now. In that case, I have to properly respond to those feelings too. Yes, there is absolutely no reason to refuse, Naruto. Naruto. I steeled myself and put my arm around Naruto, who was looking down. She let out a small gasp. The sunset cast the shadows on Naruto's face, vividly. Her face still carried traces of childhood. I could see her long eyelashes trembling slightly. As if drawn to it, I slowly bring my face closer.
お兄ちゃん。
What? At that moment, a voice from long ago resonated in my mind. It shakes my heart, and at the same time makes me feel as if cold water has been poured over my head. Why is this happening? Why now at this timing?
先輩。
Perhaps sensing that something was wrong with me, Naruto opened her eyes and looked up at me curiously. It's no good. It's already no good. The thread of tension has snapped. I'm sorry, after all, I still...
先輩、何か。
I go get a drink or something. Now you wait here for me?
ちょっと、先輩ってば。
When I said something careless, I hurriedly left the place. Inside my chest, it was already a complete mess with intense regret and feelings of guilt. Side note, don't do this! Don't do this! I hated this in fucking Marshmallow all the way home, that we kept switching sides. Please. I mean, if it's not going to be this frequent, oh my god. Oh my god, this is me? Let's go. I mean, I look oddly hot, despite how much of a dick this character is. His color is like amber, or like his eye color is amber. My senior keeps staring intently at me. Should I speak in a girlish voice? With a feverish look and a serious gaze? No, so much so that my face is reflected in Senpai's eyes. It became an automa game. No way, could this be finally?
先輩。
I muttered softly and naturally closed my eyes. Before I even thought about it, I was surprised at myself for taking such action. But this is okay, right? It's okay, isn't it, Senpai? Yuta. Senpai's hand gently wrapped around my shoulders. Finally, I'm with Senpai. I'm happy, really happy, because I really like you, Senpai. Compared to when I confessed 6 months ago, now I feel much more. But no matter how long I waited, that moment never came. Besides, the way my senior right in front of me, though their eyes are closed, is acting also feels somewhat strange. I was a little hesitant, but I decided to open my eyes for a moment and check the situation.
先輩。
It was said. Before I knew it, my senior had let go of my shoulder and was standing there in a daze. What on earth happened? What happened while I had my eyes closed? I didn't understand what was going on, and I opened my mouth fearfully.
先輩。何か。
What the fuck?
ちょっと、先輩ってば。
Before I even had time to call out, Senpai ran away as if fleeing. Just watching that back leave, I finally come to understand the fact that I was avoided.
やい。先輩。
After my senior left, I was left alone and was about to start crying. Yeah, like I said, he's the most, like, why do I have to play as the dickhead? Finally, I thought this time for sure, but to be dodged after coming this far is just too much.
やっぱり先輩は私のこと好きじゃないのかな。
I mean, I'm on the Tomo route. I know, I'm just one-sidedly forcing my feelings onto you, Senpai. But I can't think of any other way to do it. We are in different grades, and we don't have any other connections. If I don't take the initiative, I won't be able to see him.
だけど、それでも先輩が私を好きになってくれるかは別問題だよね。
Because my senior is kind. It might have been just that he was humoring a troublesome junior, pretending to be a clinging wife. If that's the case, I'm an embarrassingly mistaken woman. Sorry for the creaking of my chair, by the way. I was completely certain that Senpai, despite saying this and that, actually doesn't dislike me.
これって失恋なのかな。
If that's the case, I wish you had said so clearly. At least she isn't a tsundere. Now, if you say it clearly, I definitely cry, but saying that things are now is really tough. At that moment, I felt someone's presence nearby. Oh my god, no. I'm getting kidnapped, POV. At first I thought my senior had come back, but I could sense their presence coming from the opposite direction of where my senior had run. Slowly I turned my head toward the presence. What was that? A long shadow crawled across the ground and stretched up to my feet. Who? Without thinking deeply to the master of the shadow, I gently spoke to them. Sighed, Subaru. Okay. This was the reason. While taking out the juice that came out of the vending machine, I let out a sigh, as if squeezing it out. This is a corner of the space park, a rest area where toilets and vending machines are gathered. I had come all this way as if escaping from Naruto, and now I was being overwhelmed by intense regret. I really screwed up. That was exactly the kind of thing I shouldn't have done, yes. At the last moment, my determination and resolve wilted and ended up taking an attitude that hurt Naruto the most. The Naruto guy is definitely... what? That Naruto girl is definitely misunderstanding, isn't she? Naruto hasn't done anything wrong. On the contrary, I was actually happy with the feeling and attitude. Even I don't exactly hate Naruto. Exactly? So, some part. After all, it can't stay like this. I have to talk properly. To be honest, I wasn't confident that I could speak well, but at the very least, I have to show my sincerity. Even if I end up hurting Naruto, or conversely, if I were to be hurt. Alright, let's go back to the kidnapped girl. By the way, immediately after you leave, she gets kidnapped. The October evening is gently cold. The 2 cans of coffee in my hands warm my palms. I force myself to push forward, returning to the plaza of the bell tower where Naruto was waiting. Sorry to keep you waiting, Naruto.
Senpai, 助けて!
Huh? When I returned to the square, Naruto ran over to me in a flustered manner. I didn't understand what was going on and just stared wide-eyed at Naruto. I think the white-haired boy followed us. You said help. What exactly happened?
変な人がいきなり襲いかかってきて。
Oh, you mean they attacked... what? The statement is quite far from calm. However, since I couldn't get a handle on things, I needed to check with Naruto again. Who are you calling a weird person? Where are they? Saying that, Naruto points in the direction from which she has been running. Then there, backlit by the setting sun, was a long, spear-like silhouette. I followed the shadow, squinting at the setting sun as I lift my face. What the fuck? Is this the church lady? Now, I have this sword, and I'm going to end you. When I saw that figure, for some reason my heart raced. The indescribable anxiety I occasionally felt At last it seemed to take a concrete form and appear right before my eyes.
あら、来ちゃったんだ。
A girl who says that and slightly relaxes her mouth. If I remember correctly, that uniform is from another girl's school in this town. But the problem was that a strange object was held in that hand. In her hand, probably. A sword, perhaps, but the shape was strange for a sword. With that, there's no way it could probably cut anything. Could it be cosplay or something like that? Even so, if you attack Nayuta, that would be going too far, even as a joke. But why? And that wasn't the only thing that surprised me. What shocked me more than anything was that I recognized the face, even with a smile on it. Mikone. Yeah. The name I had been familiar with since long ago slips out of my mouth instinctively. Yes, that is one of my childhood friends from long ago. Yesterday I had a long-awaited reunion at a nearby shrine with Miyako Tokikuni, also known as Miko-san.
ミコ姉か。懐かしいわね。あなたにそう呼ばれるの。
So it's really you, Mikone, huh?
ええ、そうよ。お久しぶりね、スバルくん。
Mikone squints her eyes and says that. But it was not something narrowed by nostalgia. At the same time, a shiver ran down my spine and a cold tension enveloped me. Because the Miko-san in front of me, unlike 7 years ago, and also unlike yesterday when she pretended not to notice me, seemed like a different person. Because he was radiating a definite murderous intent towards us. I instinctively stood to shield Nayuta and stepped back from the spot. Then this time, I felt a presence behind me and hurriedly turned around. Oh! What? You are the one from earlier? There, once again, an unexpected person was standing. During the day, a tall young man who had been quarreling with delinquents at the shopping street, Shutter Shopping Street. Is this the full name? He is now looking down at me like a Greek sculpture. What the fuck is that resemblance? I just happened to pass by here. There's no way that's true. No matter how you look at it, Nayuta and I were being caught in a pincer attack by the two people in front and behind us. Nayuta, completely scared, was hiding behind my back. It's no wonder, even I feel an unusual atmosphere from these two. A childhood friend girl who hung a strange sword nakedly, a towering young man who single-handedly beat up 3 delinquents. Could it be that I'm being teased as some kind of joke? For a moment I thought that way too, but from the two of them I couldn't sense such an atmosphere at all. Then why do we have to be caught in a pincer attack by these two? Hey, what on earth is this?
その子から離れなさい。
Huh? For the time being, I call out to someone I know, but they ignore my question and Mikone speaks.
用があるのはそっちの子だけだから。
What? The only one I need to see is your child. Then Mikone held a strangely shaped sword she had, raised it and pointed its tip toward me. Wait a second! This is no good. I understand even less now, or rather we haven't been able to have a proper conversation since a while ago. What did we do?
いいからその子から離れて。今すぐに。
Even if you say that, I can't just quietly hand over the Nayuta. The Nayuta, she's an object now. I don't know what business these two have with Nayuta, but they were clearly acting out of the ordinary. The moment I turned away, it seemed like she could stab Nayuta to death with this sword. What on earth is this? Some kind of play practice or something? However, the sword she had emitted a sinister sheen, even for a crafted item. Nayuta. Let's run away. I made a snap decision and decided to run away with Nayuta. These two are somehow strange. I can't deal with them properly. For the time being, aiming for a crowded place, we started running.
待ちなさい。
どうする？
もちろん追いかける。急ぐわよ、今日。
わかった。
Nayuta, hurry! I guard Nayuta's hand and keep running with all my strength. While running, I looked around to see if there was anyone, but at times like this, there wasn't a single passerby in sight.
こら、待ちなさい、スバル君。
You're already here? The two of them, naturally calm, chasing after me. After us, probably. Their legs are clearly faster than mine, and at this rate, I will be caught up too soon. There's no way the two of us can escape. In that case... Nayuta, you run away on your own. I hold off those two for a while.
でもそれじゃ先輩が。
It seems those two have business with you. If you can't just get away, I will be fine.
でも。
Besides, I know one of them over there. If things go well, we might be able to resolve this through discussion.
先輩。
More than half of that was a lie. Judging by the way those two were, I can't imagine that they would understand each other at all. But as long as Nayuta can escape, we will probably manage somehow. I don't have much basis for this though. That's why I told you to go quickly. Nayuta hesitated for a moment, but soon ran off on their own. As I slowed my running while watching that back, I turned to look at the approaching presence.
どういうつもりかしら。
Before long, the two caught up. I was worried about what I would do if they just ran through without a word, but it was convenient that they deliberately stopped. We have to stall even a little until Nayuta gets away. I won't let you go any further.
足止めってことかしら。
That's right. Anyway, what exactly are you thinking? What business do you have with Nayuta anyway?
今はちょっと説明してる暇がないの。どいてちょうだい。
No, I won't move. What the fuck? You have no time to explain. Just say something, bro. To be honest, I didn't think I could hold these two back. And they wouldn't. I think they just stab you. Of course, I have no confidence in being able to restrain her. And I'm not... or him? I don't know what. And I'm not sure I could control Mikonisan. Yeah, him. Okay. And I'm not sure I could control Mikonisan with a weapon either. But if I can buy even a little time, as long as Nayuta can get away, my objective will be accomplished.
変わってないのね、スバル君。
Huh?
普段はちょっと頼りないくらいなのに、こういう時には誰よりも勇気を出せるんだから。
So you can tell what type of person am I, but you can't say that Nayuta is an evil spirit or anything like that, which I believe is the case because you are a Shrine maid? Mikone. Those words were, after all, from the Mikonisan I knew well. A group of 6 who were close 7 years ago. Among them, Mikone was like an older sister to everyone. Mikonisan is the one who keeps the group together. She is responsible and kind, but when she gets angry, she's really scary.
だけどね、スバル君。今は邪魔しないでちょうだい。
The tone remains calm, but the sound contains an unusual intensity. Yeah, just like this. Back then, nobody could go against it. What?
今日、スバル君の相手をお願い。私はあっちを追うわ。
Kyo.
わかった。
Kyo. Now the tall man was called Kyo by Mikone. And I had a vague idea about that name. Normally I might not have been able to remember right away, but Mikone-san's presence awakens my old memories. Yeah, I thought so. About the boy who was called Kyo among the 6 of us. Suga Kyohei. Out of the 6-person group, he was the only boy besides me. A classmate who goes to the same school as me, and Tomo, a boy who was short but had a sharp tongue and was cheeky. Wait, could you be that Kyo?
今頃気づいたのか?
I mean, you had brown hair back then. To my surprise, I unintentionally shout out in my true self, and Kyo calmly says it without hesitation. However, there was no way I could understand. The Kyo from 7 years ago and the young man in front of me simply did not overlap in any way. 7 years ago, he was shorter than me, but now it's reversed and he's probably a head taller. He, who used to be powerless and all talk, has grown into a considerably strong and silent young man. Is it really that Kyo?
すぐにわからないのも無理ないか。お前の方はあまり変わってないけどな。
Kyo grinned in that sarcastic smile. I could just barely discern a trace of the old him. But I could recognize Mikoni at a glance because she still had her features, while Kyo still feels like he's been pinched by a fox. No way. Why now of all times? Mikone and Kyo, the 2 childhood friends from long ago, appeared in front of me like this. Even though we were supposed to have grown distant for the past 7 years. Even though I barely even saw the other members besides Tomo. Even if I generously let that slide for now. Why is it that the 2 of them's target is Nayuta and not me? No, in the first place, what purpose is there in chasing after Nayuta? Why are you guys targeting Nayuta? What exactly are you planning to do with that child?
まだわからないのか。奴は。
今日、やめなさい。今はまだ。先輩
No way. The voice I heard from behind was the one I was most familiar with now. Not the comrades who were important in the past, but now probably the most important. My junior.
先輩、早くこっち。一緒に逃げましょう。
You idiot, why did you come back?
だって先輩のことが心配で。
This is bad. This means that the effort to buy time was pointless. But if these 2 were childhood friends from 7 years ago, they shouldn't be people who can't understand each other at all. So I turned back to the 2 of them once again, and this time, seriously, I tried to resolve things through discussion. Mikone, Kyo, listen. Let's properly talk things over with each other. If we do that, maybe some misunderstanding will...
今日、スバル君を抑えてて。
了解。
What? Hey, you two, listen to me for a second.
悪いなスバル。少しおとなしくしててもらうぞ。
Kyo, you... Kyo, who had come right close to me, suddenly vanished from my sight, and that next moment a heavy impact struck my stomach. It's the same as when I saw it in the shopping street. The delinquent collapses without even knowing what Kyo did because his movements are too fast. That now applied exactly to myself. But I stood. Surely somewhere in my heart I might have wished it were just a joke or teasing. Coughing on blood. But this pain was not something given as a joke.
気絶させたと思ったんだが、結構タフだな。
I can't do something like... Even though I pretended to be strong by coughing, my body wouldn't move as I wanted it to. As I thought my initial instinct was correct, it seems that any kind of discussion won't get through to these two at all. I don't know the reason, but after all these two... I'm serious.
だったらしばらく目をつむってろ。すぐに済む。
What do you mean by settled? What do you mean by quickly? Feeling a bad premonition, I moved only my head and looked around. And there, the worst possible development had unfolded. Don't stab her. Mikone, carrying the strange sword, slowly closed the distance with Noita. No way, really? No way. Why is something like this happening? My childhood friend from several years ago is now the person who stays by my side the most. Run away! Run, Noita!
うがて七使とそして全てをあるべき姿に返さん。
In the next moment, a sword was deeply embedded in Noita's chest. What the fuck? This is the genre shift immediately. By the way, if we were playing Honkai, she would have become a 5-star. A blade with multiple wickedly shaped hooks mercilessly pierced through Noita. The one gripping that sword is my childhood friend. Certainly, Mikone was stabbing Noita with a sword. The everyday life I built up until now, the boring but peaceful days, it collapses like a sand dune. I could only be speechless. The anxiety within me that I had been feeling for some time, it turned into reality. What the fuck? There are episodes? What will happen if I press this? What is this? Shit! Oh my god! Well, I should learn some basic Japanese, it seems. Yeah. Well, anyway, it seems that we completed apparently episode 1 of Amber Quartz, so anyways, this was the end of part, I believe, 5, so... yeah. the genre shift happened. So now the real game begins, apparently. So thank you guys for watching, and I see you guys in episode 6.